When I'm not watching horror movies, I'm reading comics. Now, I love a comic movie as much as the next guy, but I also think that this break from the inundation of Marvel and DC movies has been a wonderful respite against oversaturation. I wasn't sick of the superhero films, but I felt that fatigue approaching. Now that it's been a pandemic-fueled minute, I find myself eager to watch superhero flicks again, and by taking a slightly different route, ARCHENEMY fits the bill quite nicely. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights, a part of the Kings of Horror Network. I'm ML Miller. While you might be watching this video on the Kings of Horror Network, I urge you to click over to my ML Miller Frights page and give it a like, share with your buddies across the electronic superhighway, click subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. ARCHENEMY is new, on-demand, and digital download from RLJE Films. It's directed by Adam Egypt Mortimer, and written by Mortimer and Luke Passmore. Joe Manganiello plays Max Fist, a homeless drunk who claims he was once a superhero from another dimension. Max is the kind of guy most people walk across the street to avoid, but Hamster, played by Skylan Brooks, is a storyteller in search of a story and sees one in Max. Hamster's sister, Indigo, played by Zoe Griggs, aspires to rise in the world of organized crime and is looked at as an up-and-coming prospect by the manager, played by It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia's Glenn Howerton. When a drug deal goes sideways, Max is forced to sober up and be the hero he always touts himself to be, in order to save Indigo and Hamster. But is Max really a superhero, or just a sad and delusional man? Spoiler for this review, I'm not going to reveal the answer to that question. Too bad. You'll just have to see the movie yourself. Director Adam Egypt Mortimer has delved into the supernatural with his previous film, Daniel Isn't There, so he isn't a stranger to the psychological side of the genre cinema. Through ARCHENEMY, Mortimer blends elements from The Fisher King, Unbreakable, and The Wrestler to deliver a raw and street-level superhero tale that really doesn't matter if the superheroics are all in Max's head or not. What matters in this film is the evolution of a beaten man into something that matters and what he needs in order to achieve it. That's the heart and soul of ARCHENEMY, and you can feel it in every painful glimpse of Max's life. Mortimer pulls no punches in showing how down and out Max really is, taking any kind of drug and alcohol simply to cope with the loss of his previous life. Max may very well be telling the truth, or at least what he believes to be the truth, with his ramblings about being able to punch through molecules, battling arch rivals, and being worshipped by the masses for his heroic deeds. But those days are long gone, and the strongest bits of ARCHENEMY map out how far Max has fallen and the difficult climb to try to be something like the Marvel he once was. Joe Manganiello was born to play a superhero. I mean, look at the guy. He's a monster of a man, and while he might have been glimpsed as Deathstroke in Batman vs. Superman, I think he deserves to portray some kind of four-color hero ASAFP. Manganiello proves it in ARCHENEMY as he delivers a soulful performance as Max. Manganiello is definitely physically imposing and looks mean as hell, but on top of that, the guy can act. What makes ARCHENEMY so watchable are the quiet moments where Max recalls his past heroics and suffers from the inner turmoil of becoming the shell of the man he is now. Manganiello is a big-budget action star in the making, and this film proves it. I also really like the supporting cast Mortimer assembled around Max for ARCHENEMY. Skylan Brooks is likable and relatable as Hamster, who feels like Max's unofficial Jimmy Olsen. While it's difficult to tell a story from the perspective of the person viewing the action from the outside and not necessarily participating in it, Brooks overcomes this storytelling hurdle on sheer likability alone. The real surprise is Zoe Griggs as Indigo, Hamster's sister. This girl is going to go places, I promise you. She is a solid actress, and I expect to see a lot of her in the future. She really shines in the limited amount of scenes that she's in, and sparkles with all kinds of charisma and character. Rounding out the cast is a particularly sinister role for Glenn Howerton. While his role as Dennis in It's Always Sunny is always somewhat heartless and cruel, He takes it to a supervillain level here. Smaller performances by Paul Scheer as a whacked-out drug dealer and an against-type role of villainess by Amy Seimetz round out a very talented and entertaining cast. I love the rotoscope animation that goes on in Max's head when he thinks back to his high-flying days in the other dimension. The imagery is vivid and dynamic, lauding the comic book roots that secure the foundation of Archenemy. Like Unbreakable, this is a film for comic book fans who have read comics for years and know the wonderful language of image and text. I love the simple designs of the fantastic city Max used to protect, and the goofy design of his costume and all of the monstrosities of science he used to go toe-to-toe with. While a bigger budgeted film might have attempted to bring these sets in the here and now, Archenemy adds to its gruff and gritty feel by resorting to rudimentary animation to fill in these gaps. This cartoonish representation adds to the charm of Archenemy, but also reflects the unreliable aspects of Max's wild tales. Archenemy isn't without its faults. I kind of wanted to see Max struggle a little bit more to right his ship and make the decision to be the hero again. It would have made for a longer runtime, but with this one coming in at a breezy hour and a half, I think there would have been time for a little more development in the shift of Max's confidence. I also think that while there are some diabolically twisted, funny moments from Scheer and Howerton, a lot of Archenemy is humorless. I kind of wish this film would have gone for all or nothing in terms of humor. Either a stark look at a hero demolished and desperately trying to pick up the pieces, or punch up the script with more clever dialogue playing with the concept of whether Max is superpowered or not. As is, the humor is there, but it feels uneven, and is only good in bits and pieces. I also think that the ending is fun, but came off as a little cheesy given the harsh tone the rest of the movie has. Criticisms aside, this is a lo-fi, gutter-level, quixotic tale of redemption and hope, covered in alcohol, blood, glass, and vomit. It's definitely no squeaky clean Disney Marvel venture, delivering blood, gore, action, and suspense that hits harder than most big-budget superhero flicks combined. If you're a fan of comics and disillusioned by the polished way superhero films have been made recently, Archenemy is going to be your personal hero. That'll be it for today. Please chime in the comments and let me know what you think of this video, how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own review. If you like this video, please pound that thumbs up button. Share this video with your social media addicted pals. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on mlmillerwrites.com. Don't forget, I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look for. GRAVETRANCERS is out right now, and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, will be out in November in only the finest of comic book stores. And be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for alerts to be the first to see my future videos. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're